Hi, this is Arek from Cross-Skating.pl. Today we're talking about tips. I know, some of you, especially at the beginning of your journey, might think it's an unnecessary topic, but trust me, it's not. It's worth knowing a lot about tips and often reminding yourself about them. It's a small element that has a gigantic impact on safety and the enjoyment of skating. So let's get started. Let's start with a basic truth. A quick cut because I have a request. As you know, I invest a lot of heart, time and resources into these materials. So if you like this episode and find it useful, please leave a subscription or share it with others. I'll be honest with you, it's not just a nice gesture, it's support that drives me to keep going and really helps in creating more videos. Without reach and without you, the viewers, this project simply has no chance to grow. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's get back to the material. Tips get dull. Anyone who switches to new poles with perfectly sharp tips feels that incredible difference. It's pure pleasure. Sharp tips provide great grip. They dig perfectly into asphalt or forest paths. This allows for a clean, strong push-off. Your training is simply more effective. Most tips you encounter are made of carbide. It's a super hard material, much more durable than steel. However, you should know that even it loses its sharpness after about 50 kilometers. And if you train intensively or have a significant weight, it will happen even faster. Therefore, to ensure your training is always at 100%, you need to regularly sharpen your spikes. How to do it right? It's simple. You need a pocket diamond sharpener. This small and handy tool fits in any pocket or bag. You can sharpen your spikes wherever you are, even during training. On the market, you'll find various sharpeners. I recommend one with the right grit, high durability, and a low price. How to sharpen? Lightly moisten the sharpener with water. The whole process will go faster. Then move the file back and forth along the shorter beveled side of the tip. Do this with moderate pressure until the tip is sharp. What does sharp mean? I casually call it the tip should prick. When you try to touch it gently, it should give a pricking sensation, a bit like a needle. Remember to sharpen only the shorter bevel of the tip. This way, you remove as little material as possible and the tip will last longer. How often? Ideally before every practice session. It's a moment that guarantees maximum grip. If you skip a few sharpenings, you'll have to remove much more material later to get back to ideal sharpness. And now, a very important note. Absolutely and under no circumstances should you sharpen the tips on a high-speed bench grinder. The high temperature generated destroys the carbide structure, making it brittle, more prone to chipping, and it dulls faster. Even worse, the high temperature melts the plastic sleeve in which the tip is mounted. Such a damaged sleeve stops holding and the tip simply gets pushed inside under pressure or becomes loose and falls out. A bare end without a tip is then useless, so only use a manual diamond sharpener. Now that we know how to maintain sharpness, let's talk about protections, specifically the popular rubber tips. Honestly, riding with rubber tips is generally poor. They slip on both asphalt and off-road. And you must remember that a good pole plant is not just about propulsion, it's also about stability and riding comfort. If the tip slips, it throws you off rhythm and takes away your confidence in riding. However, there is one exception: cobblestones. Their gaps are a trap for tips. They can wedge the tip and simply pull it out of the pole. Therefore, on cobblestones, either put on rubber tips or avoid using poles altogether and focus on the skating technique. So what types of protections do we have? First, full rubber tips. They are great for poles during transport. In a car, they won't scratch the upholstery. They are also suitable for beginners who want to stay more incognito at first and avoid drawing attention with the noise of poles hitting the asphalt. Secondly, there are the pierced rubber tips from Skike. This is a hybrid and quite a good solution. They are designed so that after being put on, the very tip of the spike still protrudes, providing the desired grip, slight noise reduction, and importantly protecting the plastic base of the spike from wearing out in the field. This way the spike doesn't loosen and get lost. A well-serving spike is one that has worn down from sharpening, not one that has fallen out somewhere. The downside is that the rubber can eventually crack and wear out. Buy them with a spare right away. Important tip: glue them with a drop of adhesive. Initially they fit tightly, but over time they wear out and can be easily lost. It's also worth mentioning the metal protection. This is a Polish invention from our friend Tadzio. It's a great invention but dedicated to one type of tip, and now we come to the latest and, in my opinion, the best solution on the market: the Floig protective damping pads, straight from the inventor of Skike roller skis, Otto Eder. These pads work best with Leki Fin Vario tips because their spikes are thin and protrude the furthest. The design of this pad ensures that it absorbs impact with light ground contact, but when you apply force to push off, the spike digs in and provides full propulsion. Recently, I even tested them on a wooden promenade in Tichy. No falling into gaps between the boards. Instead, great support and rebound. Another important rule after putting them on with force, for example with pliers, is to definitely glue them with a drop of adhesive. It's also worth replenishing the glue. And finally, I have a super interesting fact for you. I checked this personally. My favorite tips, the Leki Fin Vario, can successfully be paired with Skike poles. The original Skike poles have a convenient screw thread. Unfortunately, for heavier individuals or with very strong pushes, this thread can get compressed and damaged. If you feel that your poles are heading in that direction, don't hesitate to replace the original tip with the Leki Fin Vario. Phew, that's a lot. I hope this information is useful to you. Taking care of the tips is truly an investment in your comfort and efficiency. If you have any questions, write them in the comments. All the mentioned products, sharpeners, tips, rubber pads, can of course be found in our store Cross-Skating.pl. I invite you to visit us in Tichy at Żółkiewskiego 101. You can also call us at 731-520-530 or email us at contact@crossskating.pl. Thanks for today. See you on the trail.